Okay, so we start with the setup right on the karate chop point under the base of the pinky. Even though there are times I'm being too non-confrontational and I'm too conflict avoidant, I still love myself and I accept myself fully. Even though it bothers me that I tiptoe around some things and some people too much, and I make confrontation a bigger deal than it is, I accept where I am in this journey. I accept my own tendencies. I love every part of myself. Even though there's a non-confrontational part of me that creates more discomfort for me than conflict itself, I completely accept myself. I deeply love myself. Okay, let's go to the crown. I'm going to pat it this time. I do not like it when I make myself small. Inner eyebrow. I very much dislike the sensation of walking on eggshells. Tiptoeing around any topics or specific people. Outer eye. That puts me into my child self. I don't like it when it's time for me to adult and I'm in my child self. Under the eye. And I have some shame about that, and I don't like that either. Under the nose. And I have some self-judgment for that, and I don't like that either. I'd like to stop judging myself. Chin point. I don't even like it when I'm over-focused on the confrontation aspect of a hard conversation. I suspect it may not require confrontation at all. Under the clavicle round. I think I really just need to be more at ease with conflict and confrontation, or someone else's strong energy. And I'm not sure how to get to that place of ease. Side of the ribs. I know it's not realistic that I would always easily say anything to anyone. But I really, really, really want the whole thing to be less of a big deal. And for anyone for whom it's only a big deal in a certain situation or with a certain person or kind of person, great, just fully drop in there. Let's go to the crown. Now we reach for better feeling thoughts. I actually want to acknowledge that I've made some improvement in this field. Inner eyebrow. I'm getting better at simply stating directly what's true for me. Side of the eye. Right now, I can think of one recent scene where I did that, or I got pretty damn close. And please clearly have that scene in view. Under the eye. I'd like to think more in terms of honesty than confrontation. Under the nose. I'd like to think in terms of authenticity. And I like my authentic self so much. Chin point. Right now I remember the pain and contortion involved in not being clear and authentic. I want to spare myself that pain. Under the clavicle. I know I trip myself up sometimes wanting everyone to think well of me, like me, not be offended or hurt by me. And I don't control those things. Side of the ribs. Right now, I release others to whatever they want to think of me. I release them to their first reactions that they get to have. Crown. I'd like to get really clear about the parts I control. I control whether I'm telling the truth or not. Inner eyebrow. I control when I speak and when I'm quiet. I don't have to push myself or pressure myself. Side of the eye. I'd like to remember more often that not speaking can be a very good tactic. And it's nonviolent. And it's self-honoring. Under the eye. I'd like to remember more often that I can almost always buy time. And speaking when I'm not ready doesn't go that well. Under the nose. It could be helpful for me to redefine what it means to be ready to speak. Chin point. It doesn't mean I know exactly what to say or I have everything figured out. It doesn't mean there's a guarantee I won't bother anyone with what I say. It doesn't mean I can control the outcome. Under the clavicle round, I'm ready to speak when I'm grounded, when I'm not trying to control what I can't, when my highest value is clear communication, when I know I can only control the part that I speak. Side of the ribs. I like that I'm actually discerning about how things are going with someone. I know when something feels off. And when I try to control the parts I can't control, that doesn't get anything back on track. Crown. I like that I get discomforts in my body when I'm not telling the truth. That something still feels off when I'm not being clear. Inner eyebrow. I like the ways I can read other people. And I'd like to be careful with mind interpretations about their motives or what they're thinking. And hold on to trusting that something's off. Side of the eye. Maybe I can at least know they have some resistance, or their stuff is up, or they're not comfortable with what's happening or what I'm saying. Right now, I make room for that with my own breathing. Under the eye. Right now, I remember that in real time with someone else, I can make room for whatever's happening with my own grounding and breathing. It's okay that it feels off right now. Let me ground that and breathe that. Under the nose, not fix it, not do it just right, not change them, and not even wish myself out of this uncomfortable moment. Chin point. Right now, I remember that I can get comfortable with my discomfort. And I can always soothe it, at least with grounding and breathing. Under the clavicle. I love when I remember that sometimes listening is more important than anything I say. And sometimes, excuse me, sometimes I can come around and say something later. Side of the ribs. Sometimes I get confused that I'm abandoning myself if I don't say it all right now in this moment. I'd like to soften that. Crown point. Sometimes I actually am not ready to speak or don't know what to say. It would be more self-abandonment to just talk. Inner eyebrow. Sometimes I take better care of myself by leaving or listening or saying, let's table this now and make a date for when we come back to it. Side of the eye. Sometimes honest communication is about how I'm feeling, not what I'm thinking, or not what I know, or not what we're going to do next. Under the eye. I'm doing pretty well if I say, you know what, I'm confused right now and I don't want to keep talking while I'm confused. Under the nose. I can acknowledge discord without fixing what I don't know how to fix. It feels like we're not understanding each other right now, and I like it better when we do. And I really trust we can get there. And I don't think further talk right now is how we need to get there. Chin point. I like it when I remember to make it about me, not about them. Not what you're doing wrong, but how I'm feeling this. Chin point. Nope. This is under the clavicle. I like it when I acknowledge somewhere I've been unclear or not fully truthful, or where my discomfort with them isn't about them. Those things are so helpful. Those things don't put others on the defensive. Side of the ribs. But they also don't make me small. Right now, I acknowledge that I never need to grovel to be clear with another human being. And I remember that if they're accusing me and that confuses me or feels off, I can just say, you could be right. I'll give that more thought. And I also don't have to keep listening to more if I'm done. Okay, we finish at the crown. I've really gotten better at this. I know I'm going to get even better at this. I'm willing to practice. I'm willing to go as far as I can go in any interaction and not push that. And I'm especially committed to not abandoning myself and continuing to work on grounding, breathing, embodying myself. as one of my most effective tools for just staying right with myself in this moment. Okay, let's drop down and just breathe the reverberations of that. I find there's marvelous contact with the breath after tapping. So really relish that. Really drop in with the ah in your nervous system. Whenever it comes, however it comes, certainly tapping included. And please just note if there's anything tugging at you for a further look. Okay.